Hi, Blue.
Hello, Jill.
Can you hear me okay? Let's make sure
Yep,
we have good sound, good audio going on.
absolutely.
All right, I hear you fine too. How about you guys? Can you tell me if you hear us okay? Make sure I've got my little Christmas song going on in the background here. Welcome to today's Beach Report and another episode with my favorite alien, Blue. Hi, Blue. How you doing?
Hi, hi, Jill. I just noticed that we're wearing the same colors too, so that's funny.
Well, you're a little more Christmas than I am. I'm
Hey,
Chris.
that means something's got to resonate.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We're on the same wavelength, right?
Absolutely.
So, everybody, if you don't know about Blue, this is her second interview on my YouTube channel. She was on, what was it, 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I think. Boy,
A
time
few
goes.
days ago.
Anyway, I met Blue a few years ago in front of Mar-a-Lago, and she told me that she is an alien. So it's very interesting. You don't often meet aliens out in the wild, but here I've met Blue. And Blue, tell us a little bit about yourself before we jump in, because I know a lot of people are new to my channel and they don't know who you.
You're breaking up.
Oh,
Your
oh,
line's
okay.
breaking up quite a bit,
Oh,
Jilly.
what about you guys? Do you hear me breaking up too? Let me know in the comments how the sound is. I know there was an echo the last time. I could put my earphone in and see if it's better because I want to make sure that we have good sound for this because that's really annoying for people. Let me try my earphone. Hold on. I believe my other earphone yesterday made. See if I'm connected. Okay, can you hear me,
All
Blue?
right. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. What about you guys? Hi, Janet. Can you guys hear both of us? Because I hear Blue and Blue hears me, and that's a good thing. What about you guys? We need a sound check, please. I'll
Well,
start the
while
day.
everyone's dealing with that, I will go ahead and proceed to explaining about what I deal with in my department, who and what I
Wonderful.
am and what I represent. As
Perfect.
the
Dawn says we're
Intergalactic
good.
Federation, as the Intergalactic Federation president, I maintain and as an architect, input speeds and relay information between other unit members in the force as well, uh, to bring the fundamentals of the new age together. Our star races of the Zeta Reticuli, intergalactic grays, we maintain a code of ethics for new age substandards. And there are several star bearers, star seeds out there in the force that represent better codes of ethics and help to alleviate certain issues at hand behind the scenes. In the military department, we deal with causeway of certain terms that are in the infrastructure of communication lines, meaning if there's a communicative barrier problem, we deal with it. If there's a terminology report, we deal with it with unelevated weather structures that could be controlled by HARP. We maintain and relay information through underground affairs, especially through DU and military bases and other important information at hand that others are not aware of. We help get rid of these issues. Dealing with the force at hand, though, there is a lot going on that people are not aware of. And one of the main things is the elevated modes of the extraterrestrial units being maintained between here and the diagnosis stream in the upper hemisphere.
So I thank you for that explanation, Blue. And I hope that you guys realize that, as an alien, Blue speaks differently than we do. And sometimes the things that she talks about for me go way over my head. So I have asked her to speak to us as if we are in kindergarten or if we are children. And I know, Blue, you are trying your best, girlfriend, and I thank you for that. It's very difficult sometimes for for Blue to change her way of speaking so that we can understand her. And sometimes I have to ask her more questions. So if you guys have questions, please put them in the comment. Blue can see them too. And we all need to understand each other. But one thing that I don't think anyone understands right now, except for maybe Blue, is the fact that there are things flying above our heads. We don't know what's going on. And it seems to have ramped up in the past several months where people are noticing huge drones. And I don't even know how they know they're drones because I go out and I look in the sky and I see lights and I see blinking things and I see stars and I see all sorts of stuff. And I don't know what I'm looking at. And I couldn't say that's a drone, that's a plane. It is kind of weird that people are saying, well, these are drones, and they don't really always know what they are. But on the other hand, our government is telling us that there's nothing to see here, folks, move along, move along. And we know that's not true, or people wouldn't be saying anything. So, Blue is decided to come on today to explain things. I think you got some insight yesterday, right?
Yes, intel from my source says that they are supposed to be on our side. That
Okay.
okay, that there may have been an affiliated motive of higher intelligence helping with these drones, but they are man-made. And these drones are supposed to be scanning certain perimeters off the East Coast, including New Jersey, for a possible nuclear threat. That too, if a nuclear threat and or agents itself could be affiliated with terrorists that have gone in and out within the past few years. And
Yes,
but there,
oh, sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to add in, there have been reports that there was a container ship that came into the port in New Jersey, and that there was supposed to be a nuclear warhead on that container ship, and that the container it was in was found disturbed or destroyed, maybe, and it was empty. So, is this what we're talking about when we say
This
that, and that it came from Ukraine, right?
very possible, yes. And if that threat is high, then they have a reason to diagnose that. But we already have been aware that there are other drones, other units, and some of them may be extraterrestrial in other areas across the planet too, recently. And this could be a possible coordinated international attack threat, but we are not sure. We do know that some of these are of extraterrestrial origin. The ones per se, though, affiliated with New Jersey are straight drone. And it's, like I said, from what the government, what we already know that a lot, there's still much of the government that has to be leaned out because we're not entirely sure of them. We can't trust them entirely. So we do know that these in New Jersey is supposed to work for us and supposed to look for this thing and other types of technologies on a nuclear event and remove that. But there has been, when I say about gaslighting, is there has been possible outcomes out there that military bases around these areas are utilizing a certain technology against said drones that may be coming in and out of these military bases. They're using a drone buster.
What's
So
a drone
if we
buster?
do a
Like,
drone buster is kind of like a cloud buster. You know, you get rid of the particles in the air with this hyper technology. A drone buster gets rid of the electromagnetic fields upon a drone itself, deactivates it.
wow.
Now, so the possibility that there might be a mix of drones that are not of us, it could be of Chinese origin, Draconian origin, trying to get elevated information, a certain type of information, or be infrastructure within the government itself that might not be trusted yet. But
So
until
we know, sorry, we know that we can't trust the government right now. I mean, we couldn't trust them for the past 4 years, and we couldn't trust them before that either. Even when Trump was there, that there were forces working against our country. So the people who are in power right now, they have been trying to do everything, I think, to hurt President Trump when he's in office, in addition to causing mayhem all over the world. Do you think that this is part of that?
well, you know, since he got into the office, now there's an even higher nuclear threat abroad because of the Biden administration, because they want what they want to cause. We don't need that. We need to find where certain corporations are diligently broadcasting their wavelength out there on a negative thing. We need to get rid of that, and we need to find out what's going on a deeper node. Because if they are gaslighting us, if they are saying that they're doing these other things, then the drones that are supposed to be working with us, they need to be monitored better. And then we got to find out who in the government is working with this. And if they are working on our side, they need to create a law conjuncture that would alleviate from any other type of entities that would supposedly cause an issue for this country. There's still a lot of immigrants here. There's still a lot of illegal people here. Threats, terrorists. There's still a lot of illegal terrorists here that could cause problems. And yes, there's some in the government. There's some that are still working for that administration in the government. This is what we need to pay attention. I wouldn't start shooting the drones down, no. But for those that are supposedly working through this and say that they are doing what they're doing, pay more attention and direct that motive. We do not need a nuclear threat. We do not need others causing it or supposedly bringing it in. And we need to maintain a better codes here of ethics, or we're going to have a problem. We need better protection.
Talk a little bit, please, about the Galactic Federation and how they are working on this issue, as well as moving forward into the new era of humanity.
Well, the alliances that have been opened up recently, we had talked about this the other day with Star Nexus portals. There have been a lot more recent activities of UFO, or UFO units in a directive to the planet. And those are monitors as well. And there's been a diligent scene that if the corporations hold right, these certain entities along with them can maintain motives for a new age. We are dealing right now, though, with a high threat. And that high threat is implemented with these negative races, the Draconians and the Vril Reptilians. And we may have a new threat coming in, and they're closely signalized with the Matri AI gray substandards. They're a hybrid of incorporated AI gray Matri. And there could be several star drone units in representation upon this planet. The electromagnetic fields, the barriers that have been signaled, while the higher indicated speeds of the Agarthan realm portals were open, had also activated their awareness itself. And I guarantee you, the corporations that we had dealt with the administration, the Biden administration, and the races that they had worked with, including certain reptilians and draconians, that they are reaching out now for help with other species. Our end, so we have. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, so there are a lot of different kind of, so we call them entities, or, I mean, they're not humans, but like everyone is kind of coming to a convergence right now. Is that what's going on?
Yes, but like I said, because of the high threats, we have to have evaluators on our turns, making sure things are represented better. We're going to have a big issue. You know, we already know that the human race isn't alone, but there are others that are so boxed in, they're not even, they don't understand that. You may go by the agenda of what you're seeing right now around you, but you need to think deeper and process that, because there's so much more behind the scenes unfolding.
It's overwhelming for us humans to think about all of this, I have to say. What can we do as a race, as people? What can we do at this point about this situation?
Stop any imposing nuclear threats that could be distributed. Put better laws in between yourselves. Get rid of the entities that are causing the problems and the corporations they stand for. Start making a new, better substructure a new structure for your planet, including a new system, even if that means that system is a government system and it has to get rid of the old one. Start putting the technologies that run into the AI subsystem, the AI health, including a Neurotech and Neuralink, as well as regenerative knowledge back into the mind. Start utilizing as a species better for yourself. I see a lot of mankind slowing down nowadays, and they're not going forward, they're going back. And I guarantee you that the generative medicines that are being implemented here, the chemicals, the mind ensnarements, the mind control, all of those different things, they're affecting the behaviors of mankind itself. And substantially, mankind needs to revert back to their healthy way of living and their healthy way of thinking if they're ever going to be able to grow.
I know that you're very in tune to health of humans and keeping us, well, I want to say healthy, but I know you've been working on the med bed concept. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, quantum med beds, they already have behind the scenes. Hoping by next year we start motivating the hyper advanced technological equipment into action. But it's going to take the motives for all those in the government, including the elites and world leaders across the planet, to have this set. But also, in order for that to happen, Big Pharma itself would have to shut down in a way, meaning the normal sciences they currently have, the shots, all that other stuff, it would have to be discontinued. That doesn't mean everybody loses their job, though. It only means that there's a whole other proportion of the health organization coming in, and it will become a lot better for everyone. Not
I
just
can't
medical
wait.
beds, but there are, yeah, not just medical beds, but there are other medical sciences that are on a quantum level that even humans would have to use as a job priority to actually fix it or maintain it or use those sciences on mankind through health departments. There's a whole nother motive coming into action soon. AI will be in the mix with it. So I know people are kind of weary about AI and that it'll take over mankind and the mind and everything, but there is an equation. Think about closer to Star Wars or Star Trek or other science fiction movies that they have on a cosmic term. They already have similar objectives. Think about that. This stuff already been out before. They already placed it into the mind. Realize that that thing could come very soon for mankind. Those sciences will be able to be maintained. Honestly, I wouldn't mind my own R2D2, my own robotics assistant, as long as it isn't human and taken over. I mean, if there is a robotics code and humans have a synthetic alloy structure, then that could be represented much further now than this timeline. They have to go by steps.
So that all said, I think it's really important to note that in the comments we've got Starbait here, and she just got home from her ozone therapy at her holistic dentist. I love that because that everything that Blue is saying right now, Starbait is doing it. Starbait is on it, and I love that you're doing that, girlfriend. Assuming that you are a girl. Blessings in New Zealand. Um, Oh, so you know Starbait. It's your friend Barbara. I don't know. Do you know her? Anyway,
Of
yeah.
course.
Well, great to have friends on here. But yes, people are starting to understand that pharmaceutical industry is not on our side and they're not making us healthy and they're not curing anything. They are merely putting band-aids on symptoms and making other symptoms worse. I don't have any kind of respect or faith in pharmaceutical industry whatsoever. Totally agree with you that it needs to be shut down. So I'm so glad that you said this, and I think yes, Blue knows Starbait, and she's a girl. Okay. um, So yeah, dis-ease based girl, exactly. That's what's going on here. And I think with help from people like Blue and every one of us to understand that we have everything within us to be healthy. Our bodies regenerate. Every single day we're sloughing off dead skin cells and growing new ones so that we're never the same person. And until we recognize the fact that we have this power, I think we're always going to be under the thumb of a pharmaceutical company. It's like not doing anything for yourself and thinking that somebody else will cure you when really you have to cure yourself. What do you think, Blue?
Well, there's many ways for a human to regenerate with their skin. I've said about that before. You get like a small cut or bruise over time, it heals. But there are much quicker ways to deal with that regenerative process humans don't have because they have a DNA substructure or cell, a microcellular substructure that is locked within
Wow.
them. Calcium, I believe, certain calcium byproducts, certain fluoride calcium byproducts help. It causes a growth between the molecular cells in the human. And too much of it, and it could screw it all up. It slows them down. It slows down their wavelengths. They even too much of certain elements, if you will, if they're implemented into mankind. And we already know that a lot of the food products are not good now, and they need to be reevaluated. There's chocolate
100%.
out there that has too much amount of metal in it. Lindet chocolates and other types of chocolate, from what I hear, they are they have found, and I even myself have found processed portions of tiny bits of metal in it, which should not be incubated. The concern goes farther, much farther, even with the way they are generalizing meat nowadays. So humans may have to reconsider the way they transact their form and what they produce. I mean, they're going to end up producing the wrong types of food. It's going to turn out wrong for their body structure.
I love this, and I know that you're right about this, and I love that Starbait's on here too because there are so many ways that we can heal ourselves. And it's funny when you say I'm into holistic um health practices and things like that. The mainstream wants to paint you as a crazy person because they've always gone along with this actually the model that comes from the Rockefellers for real. The mode of trying to take care of diseases and cures with things like radiation. And what do you think about radiation therapy when it comes to cancer, Blue? To me, that seems crazy.
In a way, no. In a way, yes. There are quantum technologies on a radioactive gamma level that can be implemented good for mankind. And those advanced technologies, if they're placed right, and those levels are not afflicting the DNA structure, the molecular lining would actually regenerate the molecules within. We already know, though, that, that therapy through radioactive still could cause a problem because it's a more on a lower science than it should be. But if we evaluate that term and use it through radon technology and quantum levels, we're able to maintain it a bit better.
I'm hearing that
Radioactive
I have.
sciences
Sorry.
could be implemented easier instead of using a radioactive as destruction. There are quantum levels to the technologies could provide an asset to mankind, as long as it's not being overused in a way that it's in doctrine effect is collapsing this planet.
Thank you, Blue. I understand there's a bit of an echo on my side, so I'm going to try not to talk too much. However, Blue, can we take the questions now? Because I see people in the comments have a lot of interesting things to say. And Arnie wants to know about nanoparticles blocking infrared wavelengths from the sun. That's really interesting.
Well, nanoparticles, nanotechnology, incubated by certain aerodynamic fields, certain planes, and spraying them out through those particles could either to redirect the signature alpha waves that are being uptuned through the upper hemisphere, or hiding that equation from something else altogether. And there's also these nanoparticles itself through these distributors could go up into a certain zone and fall back down. It depends on how high that zone goes and where those particles act. It falls down and it could coordinate something altogether that could not be good for mankind. They have found a certain type of white dust or some type of white thick something substance people are telling me about recently in certain areas. That's just one of it. That's incubated portions of hyperelements that are not good. That they're being coded upon this planet.
Wow. Yeah, yes, I heard about that. Starbait heard about it too.
And also that like I said with the metals, they're putting more metals in foods.
Yeah.
Some of the metals could be coordinated with this technology and could be redirecting the molecular structure and making it worse for mankind too. Just thinking about
So
that.
yeah, and that's really interesting. I heard an interview the other day with a holistic dentist, or I forget what he called himself, a natural dentist or something. And he said thank you, Starbait. He said that the metals in your mouth for cavities and such really bad and they should be removed. What do you think about that? And that your teeth are so much more important than you even know.
Well, they need to start coordinating regrowth structures on teeth itself, being able to make an advanced technology that will grow the teeth back together again, closer to like a shark, and what other types of entities can already do. What they are
Right.
doing is an old class scenario with these metals, and I have some myself. I know they brittle over time, and some could cause lead poisoning. Some of it could cause lead poisoning. Did you hear me? Someone was calling me.
Yeah, I noticed there's some kind of
Okay,
problem there.
okay. Sorry about that. Some of
It's
it can
okay.
cause lead poisoning as well as breaking off over time and then having to cause a cavity and um, disease or whatever in the mouth, or a problem in the mouth.
It
They
it
do
seems to
have
me
newer types of fillings that are more helpful, but the older types did not fare well with people, and it won't.
right because humans shouldn't have metal in their body. Am I right?
No, no, there's more natural types of terms to putting that into the code itself. Supposedly, there could be an equation where a metallic structure could possibly be implemented on the skin as a magnet, like we had said, Neurotech, Neuralink stains, or categorizing that the uplink in the near future has a minimal amount of AI to synthetic avatar signalized code within the actual person entity. But for now, the steps that are to be taken are to be on a better term, and they would have to deal more with what's being placed and where and how. There are metallic structures that are a benefit to mankind, like if they lose their leg or their arm, they have obviously a replacement could pose problems. But obviously, till we have the quantum medical bed and other hyper radon quantum technologies, we have to deal with this. It's kind of a circulating mode. I mean, those in the royal heritage, those in the elites, those that deal with maintaining the codes of ethics for the planet already possibly have these technologies and have had them for a long time. Humans are only given so much because they're stuck in a box. They're stuck in a box and they have to go by that box and then they have to be motivated by that and coordinated. And think how certain insects go by, like ants and bees. Bees, they go by the queen, they have to follow these rules. If they go out of line, it doesn't fare well with their system.
True.
Same thing for the ants. They get stuck, they get lost, they're lost out of the system. Humans are in a system. They're in a hive. They're boxed into that hive, and they're only allowed to know what they are given. Not all humans, but most. Those that are run on a small percentage are those maintaining it. And those that are running over them don't even come from this planet altogether.
Huh, thank you. That was very succinct. So, what's wrong with people like me? What's wrong with people like Starbait? How do we not play these games? How are we, you know, always wondering, asking the questions, being told to shut up, called conspiracy theorists? What do we do?
So
We're the
it's
star seeds, right?
right. To Arna says, do cell phones affect the teeth or the blue light for the phone? No. They have, like certain other instruments, a small portion of gamma radiation in them. They have a radioactive material in them. And they, in a way, because of the way people see things and perceive it, even the vibrations through the phones, like this, the frequencies, can affect their neural thought patterns. It's just a phone itself is lower technology that could be a bit elevated better for mankind. And we are hoping that that motivational technique could possibly move into telepathy communication and hollow wristband devices. Communication that subsidizes through the many factions and many races, including star races, including animals, including humans, and be able to relay that substructure, relay that communication instantaneously without losing your already known communication line you have. The phones eventually will be replaced with this.
Thank you so much for these explanations. You are really doing well today, Blue. I think I can tell that you're trying really hard to dumb yourself down. And I, not to say that we are dumb. I don't feel, well, I do feel a little bit dumb when I talk to Blue, but at the same time, you have to really pay attention to what she says to get her meaning. And I think she's doing a really great job. I just have to say at making yourself understandable and that likening us to ants and bees, wow, that was really clear. So thank you so much, Blue. I see
Uh,
Starbait talking about the jabs, which we know is another word for the V's, and we might not be able to talk about those. Um,
yeah.
what do we? Yes, she does have the best heart, Star. You're right. Blue has the best heart. She really, I know, she loves us so much. She's a good egg. Um, yes, she is amazing, Arnie. Okay, so anyway, going back to the
Don't you all start making me tear up now.
we love you. Well, there's a reason why everyone loves Blue. They either love her or they hate her, and I think they hate her because they can't understand her and they don't want to
Oh,
hear her
jeez.
message.
Barbara, don't cry.
You're good, Blue. I know Star's crying. I'm gonna cry too.
Well, I hope
Yeah.
my information has helped people, and
Oh
people
my
just need
God.
to be aware. They need to be aware of what their surroundings and what's going on. And I guarantee you, there's going to be a real big awakening when it comes to the Intergalactic Council and the extraterrestrials in Area 51 and what the Pentagon has held for so long. What several colonels have held, several in the military departments, including those. Yes, the SCP Foundation is real. We're even supposedly going to be able to access certain perimeters that had dealt with the inner Agarthan realms and what was beyond Antarctica, exposing certain terms that have been elevated from negative races, as well as exposing certain terms that need to be elevated for AI general input speeds.
I keep thinking about that box. I want to get out of the box that you were talking about. And I see, like Starbait too. She wants to get out of the box because we hate being lied to, but some people really like to be lied to. Why is that? Humans love to be lied to. Remember that song by Eminem, you guys? I love the way you lie. Man, it's the truth though, isn't it?
Well, there's going to be a lot of truth coming out, and
Because
those that have lied can only hold that lie for so long.
Yeah, I gotta welcome Adam here. Adam, yeah, you've missed a bit. Adam's new to the Beach Report, so he doesn't realize that we're talking to an alien right now. This is Blue, my resident alien. She comes on my show periodically to update us on what's going on in the whole universe. Because, like she explained to us earlier, humans are in a bit of a box, and we need to break out. It is the new awakening. And when President Trump says the best is yet to come, he's telling the truth, isn't he?
Yeah, and a lot of what he had dealing with those technologies, a lot of what he was holding with Nikola Tesla, with Kennedy Jr., with Elon Musk, even with several other corporations, with Area 51. There have been several military bases that he had visited and helping the equation, dealing with certain extraterrestrial races represented about starseeds why we were augmented into the mix upon this timeline, exposing our terms, what ETs have to do with Space Force in the first place, why there are severed amounts of military psyoptic events going, or psyops events going between Air Force, Space Force, those in SpaceX, those terms that deal with perimeters in the Navy, as well as distributes that run through metric scenes in Space Corps, reroute in certain signature ways between us and them.
Space
There are several star drones that have been represented to reverse technologies as well that have been a cooperative level with the departments and including with NASA, to help alleviate negative terms that have been priority speed within the last 4 to 8 years.
A lot has gone on in the last 4 to 8 years, hasn't it? I would say the last 10 years have been transformational to our world, our civilization, everything. But I am very hopeful, and I do want to be excited about every possibility that exists in the world. And being friends with someone like Blue, really, it's eye opening. So those of you who have never opened your mind to things like this, let's not forget that President Trump created Space Force for a reason.
It is the humans military part, and it is the external department affiliated code, the extraterrestrial department mode, and the humans part. There is a mix, and they're both maintained together. Our part of the department is more encrypted than the humans part of the Space Force department, but both are high level priority.
Yesterday, I was talking to Blue, and you made an observation that it makes a lot of sense. It has seemed to, I think, everybody on the planet in the last 10 years has noticed that things are really out of whack. Like we don't have a normal continuity. That's what we need to get back to. Is that right?
We need to get back to our roots and what we know as a species, and this is saying towards the humans, what they represented in the first place. They're reverting back to the original ape mode. When I say by that is they're not going forward, they're going back. There's a lot of work that needs to be set in place in order for humans to progress forward. Right now, on this timeline, they have that motive though. They have that assistance. They're not completely stuck like they realize they are. And there are several of entities, there are several others out there reaching out a helping hand so we can save and heal this planet back together again.
It's all in your attitude.
And it's going to take action. Just like the diligence of motivating Mars into a habitat, I'm not off with that. Humans need to go and be able to have heaven on earth. And I know they perceive it differently, but this is the real truth. You want heaven on earth. You want the advanced technologies, the healing, the corporations to moving things forward. You want to be able to know that there are other terrestrials out there that have motives from the source itself. You want to be able to go into other planetary systems and learn from it and grow as a species. Yeah, there's your heaven on earth. That's what it really is. There's where the foundation lays. You either stuck in your own hell boxes, sorry to say, and you're not going to ever go anywhere and wake up to the terms that there are life forces out there helping you move forward, or you can accept this and find that reality within yourself and see where it flows. Because I would love to see Mars grows as a planet, that humans and the habitats with other subspecies. Yes, there are Martians, there are Martian greys that supposedly have a habitat within it, and there's a lodging through the moon and other types of infrastructure through the solar interwave phase. But be able to have a cooperative level so humans can live amongst other species, that would be awesome as hell. This is where we need to get this forward for. This is where we need to make a stand. Humans are just going to go around and around and around, and they're not going to be able to have their gifts set by the higher sources. They're given this time for this gift. Accept it. But don't keep adding to the effect with the negative entities. Do not allow other species to motivate it, to motivate the current realm. I think I lost you. Hello? I lost you for a minute. They're cutting me off again. They cut me off. They cut me off. Yeah. Start over. Start over. Start over.